Yeah. Well, one thing that I'm having a dilemma with right now, and maybe you can give some insight into this, is so I have 3 properties right now. Each
Hmm.
property on average generates 2,000 per month in profit to me. Okay. Just like
Hmm.
averaging numbers here. So part of me is like, should I buy another property that brings in 2,000 a month? Or like, why are not, because it's the same work at the end of the day. Should I buy a property that brings in 4,000 per month? So that's my internal battle. I'm curious to hear what you would say, or like how you respond to that.
Yeah, break down what's holding you back from doing a bigger property. It's just more money. If there is private capital, what's the holdback?
So the biggest thing that's going through my head is I'm in this one main market. And I don't think it's necessarily like the holy grail of market. It's serving me really well. And I do think it's a good market. But in my head, I'm like, I can scale in this market till I hit probably 20K per month, which is gonna be, I'm not good at math. So I got like basically 7 more properties, and it's actually more like maybe 5 more properties. I'm just kind of rounding down. So if I buy 5 more properties in this one market that all generate 2,000 per month cash flow, I'll be at roughly that 20 grand mark. So part of me is like, I already have a really good team there. I know the market, I know the demand. I can kind of share the lead amongst my properties and get to that 20 grand. And then if I'm getting 20 grand on autopilot, I'll have more money to then dump into bigger properties and then go into other markets. That's kind of my thought process. But then every time I think that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm just like tricking myself in that scenario.
Yeah. In the other markets, you know that you're gonna get four grand cash flow.
Well, in just, I mean, I know markets where I can get more cash flow. Yeah, the properties are going to cost more money, and it's going to be quote unquote more risk, more money up front, more
Hmm.
everything to get it going. But I know I can do it for sure. It's just that
I
I
think
don't
I
have,
think the main I think the main question to ask is how soon, because that's the thing. How soon can you get 5 properties in your current market?
yeah,
And let's say you have the 20 grand goal, right? So you want to get there in the next 12 months, then is it possible to get that many homes in your current market? Or you only need 2 or 3 in the other market. Is that the better way to get there in that amount of time? So I always think it's like for me, I've been terrible at this last couple of years, but I'm just kind of now realizing how much clarity is a necessity when trying to figure out your goals. Like work backwards, trying to get 20 grand in X amount of time. What strategy is going to get me there? For me, I'm also someone that always likes to do um, like highest and best use. What can I do the highest and best use of my property? That's why co-living is such a good strategy for me. And that's why also I haven't scaled yet because like you said, I get it. I'm going to now have to create a whole new team in another market. But if that's my goal and I'm trying to do it in 12 months, I better get my ass to do that because that's the only way I'm going to hit my goal. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of like bouncing around a bunch of different markets, but I think if that's something that you wanna do and you have a time frame that you have to hit it and you're not gonna be able to do it with your current method, then you gotta do it.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that perspective. The other thing that is that like the reason why this came up for me is because I'm looking at a property right now, and we're actually waiting for my realtor to send me the info on it. But this property is gonna make me a little bit less than the average of the property. So like instead of 2,000 per month, roughly, it's gonna make me like 15 to 1,800 per month. And
Mhm.
but the big side of this is that I'm gonna use the burst if everything plans out. I'll use the burst strategy. I'll have no money in the deal. So then I don't know. I guess going back to what you said though, it's like how fast can I hit that goal, and would that fit with inside the goal? And I think the answer is yes. Honestly, I think that
Mhm.
I know that I can with the amount of with putting in the right amount of work to find the right deals. I know it's just a matter of my effort to find those deals. So I think that 20 grand a month. If you asked me that like 2 years ago, that would have been like freaking unbelievable. It becomes smaller and smaller as you get more and more, if that makes sense. But
Mhm.
I think that's a good perspective. How do you like? I appreciate that, by the way. How do you kind of create goals for yourself?
Yeah, for me, it's what's my main thing? What's my one thing? And this is something like I said, this year and my coach last year was like, Jesse, knock it off. Stop
Yeah.
pivoting. Because I was like, oh, the growth house here. And then I got, Hollywood hit me up about doing a TV show on growth house. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I went down that rabbit hole and I was like, whoa, they're trying to turn it into Jersey Shore for entrepreneurs. I'm like, no, I'm good. So I have all these. And that's the thing. Once you do have something where people see, you're going to have all these opportunities thrown at you. And I'll just be transparent. Last year was a year that I was very stagnant because I had so much thrown at me. I didn't know how to handle it that I ended up doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, all right, what's my one thing? What's my main focus? So even right now, if someone's like showing me all these deals, I'm like, hey guys, I'm actually not buying at this moment. My main focus is growing our community. We have a community of people who are basically in the position that I was in. 6 figures working in corporate America. They have 1 or 2 houses already. They're looking to scale to get out. And they know $300 per month on a rental is not going to get them there. So how do they do that? And I have, tons of mentors and coaches that I bring in, have these masterminds that we hold twice a year. I say all that to say is that now I know my metrics for my community. For me, it's getting on social media. It's me guesting on podcasts. So I have certain numbers that I need to hit every single week. This is how many reels I have to post. This is how many podcasts I have to guest on. And so that's how I set my goals now.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I'm with you too. I kind of bounced around a little bit and before, and I still do that today. Because the other thing, and this is, I think a lot of people go through this too. So I'm asking, like, how do you think about your end goal? Because for me, like originally, everyone's goal is like 10 grand a month, not have to have a job. That's the end goal. Then once you do it, you're like, this is great, but not nearly enough. And then you just keep on
Yeah,
pushing
I feel that.
forward. Yeah. And then you get to a point where you're like, shoot, I didn't even think about these goals before. Now I'm here. And now thinking about it, I don't really think any number is going to actually make me happy, which I don't think any certain dollar amount or property count or anything like that is going to is going
Mhm,
to fulfill me. So that's my other internal struggle is like, what is my angle? I have no idea, which is,
mhm.
I don't know, kind of probably a problem, but I'm curious if you want to share your angle or how you think about
Yeah,
creating an angle like that, or if that even makes sense, if there even is such thing as an angle.
yeah, that's a great question. I think I have a mission and a purpose with what I'm building. I wanna help 100 people get financially free in the next 12 months. And in the next 5 years, I wanna help 1,000,000 people. And obviously, it's not gonna be direct or in my community, but just through podcasts, me sharing, my story, etcetera. I wanna directly be able to impact someone like that to become financially free. But a couple things that you touched on, yeah, even 10 grand a month, guys, once you get there, yes, you now have the freedom to do a lot of things, especially if you don't live in a super expensive city, but it's not that much money. Like, I think we might have talked about it. I would say 300 is the new 100K with inflation, especially with rates. Like, it's hard to go buy a property if you're only making $100,000.
Yeah.
Um, so I hit that. I hit that last year. I was like, dang, this is like my goal. I thought financial freedom was the end. But my friend Brian said on a podcast recently with Brandon Turner, he was like, financial freedom is the start of the journey.
Yeah.
And I really love that because that put my mind in a different perspective where I'm like, yeah, at 28, when I hit that, it's not the end of my journey. Now it's fun. Now I get to play to win, not play not to lose. So to go back and tie it in with your end goal question, the mission and purpose is there. But yeah, I don't have a unit count, which I'm not a fan of unit count because, like I said, I'm more highest and best use. I'd rather have 5 properties that bring me in a crazy amount of money than 1,500 just so I can flex on Instagram with that little door emoji. Like, you probably feel the same way.
Yeah, 100%. I hate the freaking unit count thing. It's funny,
Yeah.
none of that. My VA was asking me before. I kept on saying the word triplex to her, and she's like, "What?" She didn't know what a triplex was, so I explained it to her, and she asked me. She goes, "So when people say how many properties they have, do they if is a triplex technically one property or is it technically 3 properties?" I'm like, "It's funny you ask that because whenever someone asks me, like, I have 3 properties. Yes, one of them is a triplex, but I'm not like 3 properties, 6 or 5 doors or whatever the count is, like, I don't care. I'm like, how much money are those things bringing me? That's all I care about. So just funny that
I
you asked.
mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I got 13 doors in 2
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah. So are we counting windows and
Yeah,
bathrooms
exactly.
and
Yeah,
bed
closets too.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny though. So for going back to like the end goal question, you're saying that for
Mhm.
you, like just like the purpose and the mission is the main thing driving you? Definitely.
Yeah, 100% right now. I mean, we have, I guess, an end goal, I guess. Ah, man, that's a great question. And that's probably something that I want to get more clarity on. I think the end goal will be a goal that will then have another end goal.
Right,
Like you
right.
said, there's never going to be an end goal where I'm like, I'm completely content and satisfied.
Yeah.
Like I think Ed Milet says it's blissful dissatisfaction. And I love that because at the end of the day, as someone who's ambitious, there's never going to be a time where we don't want to strive to get better, become a better version of ourselves, whether that's in business, whether that's in personal, fitness, whatever it is. And so I'm always going to be someone, and I think everyone should have this. They're trying to chase some goal.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be something in your life to fulfill you and give you purpose. For the growth house, like the actual living in the homes, I really want to have 2 or 3 of these in each major entrepreneurial city, usually probably next to one of the major universities, because I want this to be the breeding ground, the fostering of those next up and coming startups, up and coming people who are getting into real estate. And so we have 3 of these now in Arizona. And
Cool.
then next year, I kind of want a flagship one. So I want like a multi-million-dollar property. And I'll probably live in it too, because might as well. That'll be my next house hack, a multi-million-dollar house hack. I'll keep you updated on that one.
Cool.
And then from there, kind of build a team and expand. And I'm talking to a couple different people to kind of understand the approach. How do we scale this? Because that's another thing for me was how do I scale this business model?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I think something I like about you is it seems like you're always leveling up in different parts of your life too. It's not just like a lot of things are I think at the end of the day, like money drives a lot of things. In America, you can't doubt that. But something
Hmm.
like I know you're super big into like relationships. I like the vision that you're heading in. So yeah, I think it's just cool.